Four, three, two, one. We are recording. So, hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I got another special guest today. I got a guy who's become my friend. I'm gonna call him that. His name's Chris. He's from Alabama, and he just got sentenced to 18 months, guys. And he told me he'd come on here to hopefully share his experience with all you guys out there that are also getting sentenced, and the families of people that are getting sentenced, getting ready to go to prison. And I'm hoping today we can give some kind of message of hope that most of my viewers are going to camps and lows, so they're not going to the scary place, the penitentiary. Um, I had a guy on. I went live yesterday. There was one guy who was going to a penitentiary. Man, I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
He came across my channel, and that's a scary place. So, anyways, Chris. So how long? I don't know where you want to start. I don't know if you want to say your crime or maybe what you got charged for. We don't have to put yourself all on blast like that. But the main part is to share your experience, what you went through on pretrial and getting sentenced and all that. And I don't
Oh,
know where you
yeah.
want to
I mean,
start.
I don't mind talking about it. Like I said, there's some
Okay.
things like my co-conspirators and stuff. I don't see the need to mention that. But
Right.
basically, on July 3rd, 2019, I was arrested by the FBI. Never been in trouble before. Scared to death. Uh, didn't because I had never been in trouble for, never been arrested for. I didn't know what jail was like. Didn't know what I was getting into. You know, I so the way it gets I guess to tell the story. In 2002, I hurt my back and never really done drugs recreationally. Wasn't doing these drugs recreationally. Was prescribed pain medicine to help my back. Um, it worked at first, and the problem with me was okay. Well, these pills are letting me do this, so I'm going to do this. So I went to working out, working physical things. I should have been taking care of myself, but these pills were making it where I could do and live my life. So I did. Well, I kept on getting injured, kept on getting hurt. Well, as anytime the pill count kept getting higher and higher. And that the doctors started out would raise it. They went from 2 a day to 3 a day to 4 a day. Well, anybody that knows anything about those knows that after 6 or 7 months,
You
you
build
become
up a
immune.
tolerance; they don't work anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're in the situation where and you still don't feel like I didn't that I had an addiction because I was getting them legally through a doctor. But anytime you step over that boundary and you start obtaining them illegally, you're addicted. When you'll risk your freedom and your family and their safety and their financial security to get this, then you're addicted. And
That's
I did.
becoming a common story. So many people start off on the pills and they end up shooting up heroin, man. You know?
Yeah, I never got to that. Like I said,
Yeah. You could
the
have.
way it works is when people are taking these pain medicines or any kind of prescription medication because you can't go out on the street and get it. You start networking, trying to figure out a way you can obtain it through your buddies and hey, give me 10, I'll give you back 15, the whole nine.
Sure.
Mine led down a road to where you know, it decisions I wouldn't have made normally. Like
Yeah.
and at first when I first got arrested, I was like, oh, I was so addicted. These pills, they made me do this. And it wasn't until the last 5 or 6 months where I realized these pills didn't make me do anything. They influenced my decisions.
Okay.
They didn't
Okay.
make me do anything. I could have any time stopped what I was doing, but I didn't want to. I wanted those pills. Um, and what ended up happening, I ended up getting pulled into a conspiracy case with several other people, a couple of doctors and stuff like that. And and I was guilty. I was doing the things that when they arrested me, I knew it was coming. It wasn't like a shock. A lot of
It
people say,
wasn't
"Well, I
a
was so
shock.
shocked."
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know when. So they arrested me on July 3rd. Um,
That's about two
took
years
me,
ago almost, huh? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And when I first talked to you, I if I talked to you after I was sentenced, I wish I would have talked to you before I was sentenced because I was under the impression that, hey, I'm doing all these good things. I'm going to get probation because surely the judge and them are going to see all these good things I'm doing. And what I come to find out, you need to do those things: community service, get character references. That's all good, but you need to do it for you to make you a better person, not
Yeah.
just because I'm going to tell you something. That judge, when he goes to sentence you, he's not sentencing you for the man you are that day. He's sentencing you for the man you were when you committed those crimes. And I understand that now, and I guess that's what has me at peace with it.
Yeah, you're right there. That's how the judge looks at you.
Yeah.
You're a criminal who did these crimes. Now talk to me, the judge says,
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you something. It's such an intimidating process when you get in there. You have all these things you're going to say, and you're going to convince him. But I've learned through my experience that federal system is designed to intimidate you from day one,
Yeah, it
and
does.
it did. And one of the things we've talked about on pretrial, you're out so long
Yeah.
that you think it's going, not necessarily it's going to go away, but you feel like it after a while. It just didn't happen because
Yeah.
and one thing that was worked bad for me was I was out and I was clean and I was doing all the right things that I should have been doing before. And then when it came time to be sentenced, I was just like, it would have been so much easier to live my life this way first,
But
because
now
one
it's
thing
too late. Now it's too late. You know what I mean?
and,
Yeah.
and, and and I still have every injury that I had the day that I was prescribed that medicine. I just, if every now and then, if it gets too unbearable, I'll take a Tylenol and sit down. When it
Yeah.
quits hurting, I'll get back up and go to work. I could have lived my life so much different. And it's sad that we have to come to the situation we come to where we're going to go to prison, to where we're like, oh crap, I wish I could have realized this, which a lot of that has to do with your friends. Um, I speak to high schools now. I speak to mission groups and stuff like that. And a lot of guys ask me, well, I'm lucky because I have my family support, which is unbelievable. And a lot of men don't.
That's
And those
right.
are the ones,
Yeah.
yeah, those are the ones that I pray for that I feel so bad for. But I will tell them, your family will come back around. Mine did, you know, but they were that for 15 years they heard, oh, I'm gonna do better. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not that. They heard it. You can't tell them. You got to show them. But once you start showing them, it don't take
Yeah.
long to show them. When they see everyday situations where you could go left but you go right, they'll come around. And mine did, and I'm forever thankful for that.
Wow. Yeah.
And uh, I've never done heroin. I've never done uh, these things that grip people so bad, so I can't speak on that. But I know I told you, one of the reasons that I was selling drugs was to keep me some. It wasn't about the money; it was to make sure I always had some.
I think
Uh,
that's how a lot of drug dealers actually start out, so they can get the drugs for free,
yeah,
you know.
and then when
And
money
then,
gets
oh, now I'll
involved,
make a little on the side. Oh, now I'll
yeah,
make a
so
little more on the side. And
yeah,
then,
and once
and things start happening, and they get a car and a woman, and next thing
oh,
you
that's
know,
what that's one thing you will find out. My phone my doorbell on my phone used to ring off the hook. Most popular guy in town.
yeah,
Which
you
I ain't
get
been
it goes
looking.
to your head. It goes to your head.
Yeah,
You get a little power. Yeah,
I ain't been looking for nobody for these last 2 years, but ain't nobody looking for me either. Um, and you know that, and that's the thing. If I go back to where I was arrested, so here I am, knowing what I was doing was wrong, knowing I should stop, but I can't, because if I stop, it ain't about the money now. It's about, I won't have these little things about this big that are controlling my life. Well, so they put me in jail. Now, you have people that go to rehab and they have doctors on standby, make sure their heart's okay and this and that. I was put into a jail cell. They checked on maybe once a day. Now, if they came by and I was bowed over the bed and everything, they'd open the door. Are you okay? But what are you going to tell them? No, I'm sick. Let me out. But you're there.
yeah,
But thank God for that. Thank God for that, because I'm telling you, a lot of people view the government and the system a completely different way than I do. The road I was going, I'd have been dead by 50. So they actually saved my life, and they made it better. When I'm through all this and I get it all behind me, I get a clean slate to start over, to live like I should have been living this whole time.
yeah,
And I'm excited about that. Like I said, going through it, and a lot of people aren't super religious, because I wasn't, and had a great mother who raised me in church, but I wasn't beating the door down every time it was open. But I remember sitting in that jail cell that first night, and I'm like, this isn't bad. These withdrawals, everybody just says that because they want you to feel sorry for them and take care of them. Now they're real, because about the second night, it hit me, and I was sick as a dog. And
yeah,
I remember just crawling under that bunk bed, and I was just like, God, I'm not saying, I know you're real, and I know you can't open these doors, and I know you can't open these doors, and you won't open these doors. But if there is any way you can get me through this before I have to look my mother in the eye, because I had not taken a shower, had not, and my mother was coming 2 or 3 days later, and I just didn't want her to see me that way. And I'm talking about,
Sounds like a spiritual awakening to me.
well,
Maybe, you know.
it's like I tell these guys all the time in these missions and stuff. When you're out and about, you got friends, you got TV, you got social media, you got all these distractions. But when you're in that cell, you ain't got nobody to talk to but God,
Right.
and hope He's
Yeah.
listening. And and like I said, once I went through with the withdrawals, now I'm looking at, okay, I had a job I've been on for 25 years. I'm going to lose that. I've got custody of my son. Am I going to lose him? Um, all these things race to your mind, and then you're able to think, okay, now I'm not sober because it's only been 5 or 6 days, but I'm not on it. I'm not under the influence of it. What can I do different with my life now? I can't wait till this is over. I got to start now. And the thought of hurting my family, hurting my community, my employer, everybody that I had put through anything, uh,
See, yeah,
is
it affects so many people around you. Like you said, your family, your employer, your friends, your kids, your nephews, people you know that your neighbors. I mean, it affects so many people, man. When
oh
we
yeah, used to on the
that one
weekends,
little
man.
decision that I'm going to deal drugs that day, I'm going to sell a few pills to this girl, and that's it. And then, well, I'll sell her a few more tomorrow, and you know what I mean. And
Well, there's one of these prison consultants, and he talks about you live your life in seconds. And you look at this guy, and he's so smart because it's just the truth. I mean, you can live your life right for 40 years, and in one split second you make a wrong decision, and it's over.
yeah,
And luckily, guys like us who are white collar or nonviolent drug, we don't have to face what them guys face. I was terrified of it, even after the day they sentenced me, which was the day after I finally called you, because I had been watching you guys but never called anybody.
yeah,
And when I called you, and there were so many things you were able to reassure me of, and my mom, who was scared to death.
yeah.
And
And we found out you are going to camp and all that, and we went over the numbers, and I know you were
yeah, I
so
mean,
relieved, you
and
know.
that's why I tell you that day, I really can't feel sorry for myself, A, because I put myself here, but B, it could be so much worse, so much worse.
Yeah.
And I still haven't been designated yet, which is, I told you, it's kind of concern to me.
Mine came
Get that nervous.
Mine came 3 weeks before the day I was. So you got what, the 18th of next month? Is
Yeah.
that it? So you got today's the 19th. So it should be this week. The paperwork should be coming. You know you tried to call the marshals and you've called the
Well,
judges' chambers.
I haven't done that yet because, like I said, I was going to give it another week, and but by
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
next week, if I hadn't heard anything, I'm definitely going to, because I don't want to surrender to the marshals. I'd rather surrender to a prison.
Oh no, no, no! Don't do that. You're already self-surrendering. I just meant you call the marshals if they have your designation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I was going to give. Like I said, after I told you, I was going to give it another week and see if I was in that
yeah,
3 week
yeah.
parameter. And
Don't turn yourself into the marshals.
no,
You'll be like Nicolas Cage on Con Air, man. You'll be
and no,
shackled
I
up
don't.
and
And that's another thing for me that was so hard because never been in handcuffs. I'm 400 pounds, so it took 2 sets,
2 sets. Yeah,
and then these things they put on my legs were just cut into my legs, and
and
then
they put leg cuffs on you too, huh? Wow.
yeah, oh look, when the marshals and the FBI took me, uh, I got out of that car looking like Hannibal Lecter. I had everything but the face, and but like I said, those guys were totally professional, and they got a job to do, man. They got a job to do like everybody,
Yeah,
and that's what I tell a lot of people now, that especially if you're guilty of the crime, don't take it personal. Them men have a job to do, they're doing it, and it is what it is. At that point, it's the best thing that I learned was, which I had got a good lawyer, and uh, basically, I mean, you talked about when the feds come, ain't no need in lying. They got you. They already know
oh,
you're going.
they've gathered up evidence. They've been watching you and surveilling you and everything else. And You know, they
Yeah.
were in my computer. I didn't even know it. They've been watching everything I'm doing. Yeah, they've already got that. That's how they got the warrant. You know.
Yeah, and like I said, it was all of it is so surreal because I look back at now, it seems like so long ago. It just seems like, but I can remember that day, and I can. Oh, I was just like, and I didn't have anything on me that day. I was just like, I'm thinking this is going to be a little thing where they take me down, a fingerprint, whatever, and they let me go because I don't have nothing. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I got down there and I was there.
Yeah. So sometimes when they raid you, they arrest you. Like in your case, in mine, they didn't. It depends on I don't know the severity of the crime. How did you get out of jail now? Did you bail out or did they give you a bond?
They gave me a bond, and
And,
like I said, I I was so fortunate for that too because I was able to get out
and you
and
just had to sign the bond or have a family member sign or
yeah,
something or what?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. 'Cause that's what I had, and I didn't have to put up any money. You didn't
I
have to
had to
put
put
up,
any money. I
right?
had to put up any money, just
Yeah,
sign the bond
yeah.
and was able to leave. And then, like I said, then you go through you go through the, I guess what is it, the pretrial probation where you go take the drug test. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I never, I never
You,
felt it. No, before I had taken drug tests at work and stuff, I always had a prescription.
yeah.
So I would just walk in there like I knew I was going to fail it, hand them the cup, give them my prescription number, walk out. The first time that I took a urine test for the probation office, I was so proud. I knew that was clean. And for the first time in 20 years, I carried that thing around like a cup of beer. I handed it to that lady smiling because I was just so happy it was clean because it was clean for the first time in 20 years.
Wow.
And and I've passed every test since then. It'll pass every test because I realize now you don't have to. And I tell everybody, I see people who don't have the injuries that I have. Oh, I need these to sleep. I need these. I was like, look, that's when it's a problem. When you need them to wake up and you need them to eat, you need them to sleep, and you need them to do everything. It's
Yeah,
a problem.
they've become dependent on them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And,
past its usage. It's yeah.
and
They
and I've learned too. You can stand up and tell that judge, you can't put me in prison because I love my kids and all that. And all he's going to tell you is you should have thought about that when you
yeah.
were doing it.
Yeah, you should have
Um,
thought about that before you made the decision to commit that crime. You
yeah,
know,
and
you knew better. And that's where the therapist comes in. They evaluate you and they go, yeah, he was intelligent enough to know what he was doing. You
oh yeah,
know,
look, and one thing in talking to these missions and these different groups and schools that I go around and talk to, you're able to just be honest about it. And it's like, I can't play dumb. If I would have known or didn't know what I was doing was wrong, I would have been using burner phones and meeting around in the dark. I'd have been doing it out in the open, But
yeah,
that's another thing too. When I called you, I was like, got charged some serious stuff, but I'm not like this guy who stands on the corner and deals with this mess on the corner, and I don't carry a gun. I'm not a thug. And that's the problem when most people hear that, oh, you're a drug dealer, you got busted for drugs, automatically they think to a movie on TV. They think you're stuck somewhere on an island or a big house and fancy car. It
yeah,
just wasn't like that.
yeah. No, you got drug dealers that just hang out at the local bar and sell to their buddies.
Nah,
You got those kind of drug dealers. You got the guy that works at a factory and he gets an ounce of cocaine every week and sells to his fellow workers, and that's as far as it goes. You got different levels of drug dealers. You know what I mean?
and
Um,
I can remember that
my mom used to sell Vicodins to all the guys that she used to go to a bar and there was guys that would buy Vicodins off my mom for $2 a pill, and and she'd get the prescription. So she was a drug dealer. It comes in all forms.
yeah, and you learn quick that even if you're not getting money for it, if you just give somebody one, it's
Yeah,
wrong. And
first one's free.
yeah, and and like I said, it's one of those things that it took me. There's so many stages of, at first you're just scared to death. How can I get out of it? How can I make it? Then you're angry. Who told on me? Why'd they tell on me? Whatever do to them? And then
Yeah,
you start accepting it. And then
yeah, that's the hard one.
after you accept it, then there's you can go two ways. You can be depressed about it, or you can, like I said, I had such a positive attitude because I thought, well, all these things I'm doing, because I hadn't talked to you yet, I hadn't talked to anybody. and I had been out for so long, they're not going to leave me out for 2 years and then put me in.
You know how
And
many people told me, did this happen to you? Oh, yeah, you're not going to do any time. You've been out a year or two. They would have done locked you up. Oh, you're only going to get probation. It's just a formality now. Nothing's, you're a good guy. You've showed them. Did you get all that from, nobody believes that you're going to prison?
everybody thought that I was going to get probation because they saw the work and the stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I wish I would have talked to you or somebody before I went there, because, you know, I was just being told that if there was ever a case for probation in the federal system, mine was it, because of the rehabilitation, because of this and that. So I'm excited, and which don't get me wrong, I would have done all these things anyway because they needed to be done. Uh, because one thing is, as long as you're doing these, it was able to help me when I be at these missions or these schools talking to these kids and stuff. All right, you know, you just when you think you got it bad, like I go to that mission down here in Birmingham, I don't have it bad. I never had it bad. Some of these men were born with it bad, and then you see so many of them that keep going back. They get caught in that. We've talked about that vicious cycle of, you get on probation, now you got to have a job, and you got to go take this drug test, and your job, you go to take a drug test, you take the bus to the drug test, and you're in there for 3 or 4 hours, and your job fires you, and it comes where some of these guys are having to pick: do I need to keep my job or go to prison, or fill this drug test to go to prison?
Sure.
And they get caught in
Sure.
this cycle, and that part scares me.
Yeah.
But as far as going back because of doing something stupid, all I can do is pray about it and hope. I don't think I'll ever put myself in a situation where that happens again.
Tell me, do you think when you get out of prison, I don't know if you thought that far ahead. Do you think you might go back to these missions and talk to these people again
Oh,
once
definitely,
you get out?
definitely, because when you're talking, it helps you when you're talking to these men and you hear their stories, and you realize somebody's always got it worse than you.
Yeah.
I've talked to you about your situation now. You're out and the things you're having to go through, and I'm just like, man, I feel so bad because, like, I have, luckily, my dad passed away in 2016, but I have a twin brother, I have a sister, her husband, my mother, and we're all just so close. And I have such a huge support group, right there.
Yeah.
They're not going to let me fall. And it's one thing when you have people tell you they're not going to let you fall, but when people show you,
Right.
there's this peace you have. And then you, in turn, you don't want to mess up because of what they're doing. You don't want to let them down.
Sure.
But
So
like I said,
in a way, this whole thing that happened to you is helping you rebuild your ties with your family. Had you not got caught, where do you think you would be now? Would you
well,
be would your family even be talking to you? You would have progressed, right? You would have got worse, right?
we'd still be talking at each other, but
Yeah.
I'd be lying to them like I always did. And that's one thing too, when you're addicted to something, and it doesn't matter what it is. Now, unless it's heroin or meth or something that changes you physically,
Yeah.
but when you're on prescription medication and it's not changing you physically, you're able to put up a good front. And even when they know you're lying, a lot of them love you so much they're just like, I just let him tell it. But and I had gotten so good at lying and lying to myself. Oh, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. And you don't realize until when all this went down, I realized, you know what, I really I had a problem with this. And
Yeah.
I don't think if this would have ever happened, there's no rehab that could have got me off of it. There's
Right.
no there's no system I don't think could have, because A, I didn't want to, and B, if I would have went somewhere and got clean, it'd been just a matter of time before I got back out and was able to go
Sure.
get it.
Yeah.
And and with this, I had something hanging over my head telling me, you go get it if you want to, and you're gonna come sit back with us. And that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. So, how are you feeling about going to prison? I know you're probably not. You know you're going to a safe place, so you don't have that fear that you're gonna get, beat up. I know. I've pounded that into you. That they're safe, but you still must have some fears, anxiety, things going on.
I handle it different days. When I'm around people, I'm fine. When I'm by myself, I worry. Um, you know, I've pretty much come the after when the closer you get, you're like, you know what? Ain't no point in being upset about it because you're going. You just got to try to find. I'm gonna do my best to find ways to make me a better person, make me a better man. I do have issues and worries about my back and stuff because
Yeah.
I'm still hurt, and there's just physical. There's some things I physically cannot do, and I don't know if they're gonna have concerns about that, or if they're gonna be like, we understand, or if they're gonna be like, hey, tough, you should have thought about that. Get out here and grab this.
Yes and no. I mean, there's going to be a doctor there that's assigned to the camp usually, or he's there most days, and there's nurses, and they do give out some pain meds depending on, it's a case by case kind of thing. If it's a legitimate medical condition, that they might give you some. They'll work with you. You know what I mean?
I don't want pain. I've had doctors since this has happened try to give me pain medicine,
Yeah.
and I won't take it because
Well, that's good.
yeah,
But
I don't want it because I was never a killer. I never robbed anybody. I've never forced myself on anybody. I've never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
I was addicted to something. I found an easy way to get it, and before I knew it, because I wasn't raised this way. Like I said, I came from a good family, good home. We weren't rich, but we weren't poor. It wasn't like this is something I had to do to feed my family. This is something I had to do to feed what I wanted. And I don't ever, not that I don't trust me or I just very few cases with that crap does it ever turn out where they just take their 2 or 3 a day and that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, what I mean to say, let me rephrase that. They're not going to give you pain meds because you come in with a bad back. But if you were to break your leg playing softball, they would give you 3 days worth of pain meds in that kind of case. But they're not going to. In your case, I don't think they're going to be giving you any prescription drugs like that unless it's so severe. But the doctors will work with you.
yeah.
They've the medical's hit and miss. The bad thing about medicals, if you just get sick with the flu, that's when they really don't do anything for you. They tell you to drink water and walk the track. And now with this coronavirus, I don't know what's going on with the medical. So have you went over your checklist about everything? I know you got the CPAP machine. You're going to bring that with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got documents to show that you need that. Any
Yeah.
kind
And
of
I've got documents on my back. And,
okay.
'cause like I said, that's the last thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't or refuse to, because if they put me in there and put me on a jackhammer and say, hey, buddy, dig this road up, I'm going to do it because I have what choice I have.
They're not going
And
to do that. They're going to give you some kind of sit down job, if any job. They might not even give you a job.
I'm hoping, like I said, another thing that I've done, and because I was taking amphetamines and uh, uh, pain medicine, so I always maintained a weight of about 290 pounds. When I got off that stuff, I ballooned up over 400 pounds. So I am, apart from making myself a stronger person mentally, I'm looking forward to getting there and making myself stronger physically. I
Oh,
just don't
there's
want to be
great
pushed.
workout programs there. Oh yeah,
I
lots of
don't want to
people
be
up.
I don't want to be pushed off a cliff into it, but I'd like to work my way into it.
Yeah.
And really, like I said, just try to make it. It's like I told my son the other day. He's going off to play college football. It'll be his first time away from home. And I said, look, we're both going places that if we do it like it's supposed to be done, will make us better men. If we listen to what we're supposed to do and do it the way we're supposed to do it, not take any shortcuts, it's going to make us both better men. And that's about the only way I can look at it at this point.
Yeah. Hey, we were trying to figure out when you're going to get out of there. So you're going to get you're going to get 3 months good time. That brings it down to 15 months. We forgot about halfway house time. A lot of times you can get 2 or 3 months halfway house. If you have a job waiting for you, you might just ask the case manager and ask for 3 months halfway house. Because you can get 2 months halfway house. That's kind of the guy Jonathan that's got a year and a day. I just found out he got 2 months halfway house on a year and a day sentence. So yeah, I don't see why you couldn't get 3 months halfway house there, especially because you got a job waiting for you in your medicals. I think he could. I think he could be out of there in a year.
It'd be, and if if all that were to work out that way, it would be a blessing. And I would definitely. It's like I told my lawyer when this first happened. You can put me in prison for a day or 100 years. I've learned my lesson as far as what not to do again. I know prison is supposed to be for rehabilitation for some people and punishment for the next. I'm just going to take mine as a lump on the head as my medicine, and thank God that that's all I got. And because like I said, we've talked about this. Some men get it way worse. Even in camp, some men get 10 years.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, yeah, they do.
And so, and watching your videos, I've learned, ain't no point in complaining about it because somebody's always got it worse. And like I said, the first time I talked to you, it helped me so much because I'm like, oh, I'm going to end up going to this. And, you watch all these videos on booty bandits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, how to make a tattoo gun in prison. Yeah, like I carry, I know. All that kind of
extorting
stuff.
you for your honey buns. And I'm just like, man, I don't, and, but it you does those videos are good to watch for preventive maintenance because you
Sure.
definitely don't want to go, like I said, going through what I'm going to be going through and what you went through is bad enough. It's bad enough. But seeing what those men go through, it's like, okay, this is where I am. This is where I could have been.
Yeah, when you
Now,
go to a place where you got to fear for your life every day, that's a big difference. So,
yeah,
guys from the penitentiary that I met at the camp were so the thing they liked best about it was they said, I can take a nap in the daytime. I can sleep in the daytime. I said, what do you mean you can't sleep in the penitentiary? He goes, no, you fall asleep in the middle of the day, somebody will come and stab you while you're sleeping.
yeah. I see those videos, man. Like
I'm all,
somebody
what? Really? You guys can't take a nap in the day? No, not till the
see,
door's locked at night.
and
Man,
I was looking at some of them and I was like, well, here I am. I'm not in a wheelchair per se, but
yeah.
I got a bad back. They're not gonna mess with an old man who's hurt. And then you go to watching those videos how they extort them old people.
Oh,
And
sure. You got money. You got something on your books, and you're in a wheelchair. You're easy prey.
I
Yeah.
was just like, man. And so, and like I said, when I was sentenced, nobody explained to me this is where you're gonna be going. So when I talked to you and we did the whole count thing and the number thing,
Right.
I the relief that my family and I had just that was like it was like if you put 600 pounds on my shoulders and was making me walk around with it for 3 or 4 days and hold it up there had just been taken off. And
Yeah.
at that point, once the fear is gone, then you're just like, we talked about yesterday, hey, just let me get in there and get it over with, you know.
Well, I hope you keep in touch with me. Send me some emails. I'll
oh
write you a letter, all that stuff, man.
yeah,
You
no
know what I
doubt. Like I
mean?
said, your show and I don't know, I'm not knocking the other prison shows, but I didn't ever contact them, but I know they want money. And I saw your number and I called a few of them. They never returned my phone call.
Wow.
And the first time I called you, you picked up, we talked. And like I said, it was a day after I got sentenced.
Yeah,
My
I don't
mind
want
was,
any money. I told myself a long time ago, I want to make videos to help people for free. I don't want to. I couldn't ask somebody for 10 grand. Yeah, give me a call. I'll charge you $1,000 for every phone call or whatever. I couldn't do that. It's just
well,
not in my nature, man.
and I'm not experienced enough in it to know, and maybe it's not my place to say this. But I'm not, of course, I'm not experienced enough to say anything on it. But I mean, from what I've learned, there's a formula they go by, and you might affect it by a month or two, maybe a year or two, depending on how long the
Yeah,
sentence is. But
right,
you're gonna
right.
get what you're gonna get.
You're gonna get,
So,
yeah.
and and I mean, I'm sure there are cases out there where somebody got probation that probably was looking, but if you're looking at 5, 6, 10 years, you're not getting probation.
No,
You know,
you found that out. You're not getting.
if
The
you're
only
looking at 6 months,
people that get probation, maybe they're camping at Yosemite Park, and they get the ranger comes by and he smells weed and they're smoking weed, so because that's still a federal offense, or drunk driving through a federal park or something like that, DUIs, little things like that, you can get probation for. That's about it, though.
and and I hear people all the time that get caught on state crimes and stuff, and which again, it could have been so much worse. I don't know if I should consider myself lucky I got caught by the feds or not, but you do have that pre-trial period where you can get your affairs in order. You
Yeah,
do have a chance to go if your crimes are less enough to a camp rather than you being a non-violent drug offender being shoved into a medium or high security state prison with murderers. And that's where a lot of those guys get in trouble. And then you may have, and that's the thing about this system. And again, I can't speak on, I hadn't been through it, but listen to people hard that have, you might have somebody get sent to a penitentiary who was a non-violent offender, And after he has to live that life, he's either coming out a killer or not coming
Yeah,
out.
he's gonna come out hard. I mean, he's got no choice but to it's survival of the fittest in there, you know. I mean,
Yeah, and that's one thing I was so thankful when you talked to me, because so many questions. I was just like, I'm not fast. I don't fight. Um, this is where, am I going to be taken advantage of, this and that, or am I going to go in there and try to be the best I can to hurry up and get out and end up having to fight and getting time added? And that's another big fear, because I do want to make my sentence as short as possible. I'm just like, how do I, and I watch your video, I know how to avoid trouble in there. Cause I know even though it's a camp, there's going to be some trouble. And I want
there's
to make
some
sure
guys trying to manipulate you. There's con men in there that haven't learned their lesson, and they're gonna try to sell you something. You know, there's a few weasels. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do you physical damage, but they're gonna try to take advantage of your kindness. There's a few of those guys, so watch out for them. You know, but don't be surprised if your first day there, 2 or 3 people come up. They're going to give you shower shoes and shampoo and coffee and offer to give you a tour around. They're just being friendly, man. They're not trying to. They're not trying to get you to join their gang. I had to learn that myself. And after I was there for a while, I had a little welcome kid. And when a new guy came by, I'd come up to him, "Hey man, here's some coffee and a cup," and he'd go, "Oh man, I don't need nothing." And I just laugh because we all go through that.
Well, like I said, me and you talked a lot about this, and we talked a lot about recovery and how it's an ongoing thing, and it really is. But I really think, and for some people, you look and you see them, and you're like, they just got it that bad. They just cannot stay away from it. They either go back to a place of employment where it was able to be obtained. They go back to the same old friends, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like I
you're
said,
right there.
I got a mother who's God fearing, no nonsense. When I got out of jail on bond, she's like, "You're coming to live here." And for the first 3 or 4 months, I didn't go anywhere but working home and church, working home and church. Like I said, after you show them, you show your family that I'm not just talking to them while I'm living it, then she started letting me, which I still didn't go anywhere, but I could. And it sounds weird, a 42-year-old man saying that, but this woman bonded me out. This woman put up money for a lawyer. I owe this woman my life. And I mean, the last thing, I'd be damned if I was going to disrespect her and go do something stupid, like go to a bar or anything like that. And as far as I've heard you talk about how in your own probation you can't drink alcohol, so I don't drink anyway. So I think that's a plus for me. Like I said, my only vice was those pain pills, and I'm done with those. So
Yeah.
I do have 15 years probation. So
Oh, I didn't know that. 15 years?
yeah, so I'm gonna have
Wow.
to. Yeah, I'm gonna have
It,
to. But here's the
some
thing.
some guys are allowed to drink on probation. They call it not to excess. But since I took that RDAP program, they made my case I can't drink. But a lot of guys can drink on
Well,
probation.
I don't drink it, and this is when this all first come
I
through.
didn't know you got 15 years probation. What do you know why? I've heard
Because
of that. You're the first one I met that's got that much.
the sentence was so light. The
Okay.
I guess because there was a mandatory minimum of 60 months, and because I had done the work with the missions and talked to the high schools, and I had letters from different coaches and different schools and
You
organizations
did all
saying,
that. That's the right
yeah,
thing to do too. Yeah.
and
But
I
so
had put the
so
work in,
yeah.
but like I said, at that point when he said that, everybody around me was shocked. I wasn't. I was just like, just nervous and scared, and who am I to argue with anything because I did it.
Yeah.
Whatever they gave me, I deserve it. And but they could have gave me 25 years probation.
Sure, sure.
I ain't gonna do anything to go back. The only thing that which you also helped me with is it's not gonna be like a nonstop hassle. And I'm sure that in a few years, 3, 4, 5 years, I'll be able to go back and say, look, I haven't done anything. You know, you could show some mercy on me
Yeah,
because
you
I
can
haven't.
get off early. I think maybe that's the judge's way. You showed the judge that you could change. You did all these good things and turn your life around before he sentenced you. And the judge says, okay, you've shown me you can do that. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to do it when you get out. So I'm going to give you this long probation. And as long as everything you did was from the heart, you should have no problem with probation. You just keep
And
doing
I'll
what
be
you've been
yeah,
doing.
I'll be honest with you, Sean, it may help me because as long as that's hanging over my head, I
Yeah,
don't ever want to go through this again. And
right.
that's another thing is once you finally, and I've already said this, no, but once you finally, okay, I'm clean.
Yeah,
I don't have anything controlling my life. And like my weekends consist of me playing Jenga with my 6-year-old niece because she's the only one that doesn't understand. And we're trying to figure out how we're going to explain to her where I'm going. And because
yeah,
I mean, on Friday nights, buddy, I get off work, she's calling, you coming over tonight?
yeah.
Saturdays, if I don't get over by 9 o'clock, she comes to my house
Well, you
and
are
gets
going to go work for the government for a year.
yeah,
It might be washing dishes or something, but you could say you got a government job. You're going to serve your time. Your tour of duty kind of thing. Could look at
yeah.
it
And
like that.
and we talked about so many changes, and that's another thing I feel blessed about. There are so many people that are in there for 10 or 15 years, and things happen. Like we found out right before I got sentenced, my sister's pregnant, and
Sure.
she's gonna have another little girl, and I won't be in that child's life for a year. And that that is, but there are men that their own kids are born while they're in there.
Oh yeah,
So
they miss out on a lot. They miss out on so much. Though I know what you mean.
and when
You're
I
one of
was,
the lucky ones.
yeah, well, I'm very lucky because when I was sitting in that jail, all I could think about is I'll never see my son play another ball game. How's he going to go to college now? How are we going to, who's going to talk, who's going to take him on his trips and stuff like that. And it bothered me. So I was fortunate enough to be out for those 2 years for him to finish high school, graduate. Now I won't sit to see him graduate. I'll miss that. But what's important to me is that he graduates, goes on, plays college football, gets a degree, things we've worked on since he was younger. And I'll miss a year or so of it, but I get to, I'm so blessed because it could have been so bad that I missed all that too. And
Sounds like you're already a better man than when the day you got arrested. You know what I mean? You've already
you can,
become a better man, and
Sean, you can only,
and you're still. I know you're going to work on yourself when you get there, and you're going to just keep improving, man. I got
yeah,
you know.
you can only go two ways. When this happens to you, you can only go two ways. You can feel so like, I have people ask me all the time, well, you got set up by your friend or whatever, or you mad at him. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at anybody that told on me. I'm not mad at anybody that went after self-preservation because who wouldn't? Especially when all these things happened 4 or 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden they're getting questioned. They've had children and they've got businesses, and nobody wants to lose. So it's just one of those things where life isn't like the movies. I hold no vendettas. I realize I'm in a situation I put myself in, and
Yeah.
I want to make it as peaceful and as positive as I can and get out. And then now I know I'm just as happy these last 2 years. Facing prison, I was just as happy with the true people that love me, my family. And I have one or two friends that are not family that I stay in contact with, go support their kids and stuff in sports. But anybody that I was involved with doing that, I completely cut off. And once you do that, the rest of you, if you surround yourself by positive people who are doing the right things, it's not hard for you to do the right thing.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
and those people, the bad influences kind of run away anyways. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and I hear about them from time to time, and they're still dealing with the things that they were dealing with, their addictions and stuff like that. And people like to point the finger and blame. Oh yeah, he's the one. The reason I was doing it and all that. And I'm not the reason you were doing it. I was a way for you to get it, and I was on the same thing, if not taking more than them, and I got off of it. It just you have to reach a point in your life where you're tired of it. Um, I knew that I was taking too many of those things. I knew that it was just a matter of time, and I just couldn't make the right choices. Now that I'm off of it and can make the right choices, this next year and a half is going to be hard, but after that, I'm gonna be good.
I don't know if I ever told you about the different church services that are in camps. You're gonna have like 10 different types of everything from Muslim to Jewish to Catholic to Lutheran to Baptist, and it's pretty big groups of guys that'll meet, and they have Bible studies, they have different gatherings and support groups, and so you might just find a bunch of you know, but those are always good support groups. You'll see those
Well,
guys, and just be careful of the Bible thumper, the guys that well, you see that more in the penitentiary. Like Charles Manson said, he's found Jesus now. Stay away from those kind of guys, but you know
that
what I mean?
that reverts back to what I've learned as far as the show me, don't tell me. You know,
Yeah,
I'll see who's doing it right, and that's another thing too. Watching your videos, I was just like, oh man, was that first day gonna be? It helps you when you know what your first day is gonna be like, what to look for, what to expect. Of course, every place is different, so but at least you got a blueprint of what not to do. Don't do this, don't do that. Uh, and like I said, it just I want to every program they offer, not just for to kill time and make the time go by fast or to get time off. I actually there's things that man you can learn a lot from people like you, like the guys in the mission that I talk to. And some of these guys don't have nothing, but they're some of the wisest guys because it takes them being at the very bottom
yeah,
looking up.
yeah. They
When
have life experiences too that are valuable.
yeah, when you
There's
realize what all, and you don't realize even on your way down, you don't realize what all you take for granted. It's not till you smack the bottom floor, and that bottom floor for me was in a jail cell. There, there were of course there were further places to go down, but not at that time. And it, I had 7 or 8 days in there to just, and I had, like I said, if you've never been to jail before, 2 hours is too long.
yeah,
I had never been to jail. And,
yeah.
a lot of the people, like that, I've heard you talk about it. Other people, they've been in jail 5 or 6 times before they actually went to prison. I'd never been to jail before, so that one time scared me. I always thought that show Scared Straight was made up crap. No, and I didn't have nobody yelling in my face. Just sitting in that room for 23 and a half hours a day with no TV, no phone, no communication with anybody. I mean, you start talking to yourself, and I mean, I'm not a big reader, but when they finally brought me a book, I read it. And I don't even like science fiction, but I read it because what else are you going to do?
Right,
And
right. Yeah.
that's why I told you I was so scared to go into solitary for 10 days, 20 days, whatever, because those 7 or 8 days beat me up. I mean, they beat me up bad.
Yeah. Well, now they're starting to put you on a quarantine range. So it's like with the little cubicles, and it's so hopefully that's going to happen at your camp. They're not really doing the solitary thing much anymore. So because they
And I've
got
been,
space now. So
I've had both vaccinations, so
yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah, yeah.
hoping.
Make sure you bring that like the
Yeah,
registration card. I've got mine. Show
but
that. That's going
now
to
I'm
help.
hearing, now I'm hearing you got to have a booster shot in 12 months and all that. So it's like,
Well,
no,
yeah.
I don't know how
Well,
long I want to keep pumping this mess inside me, uh,
yeah.
but like I said, I'm at peace with it. I've got 30 days, and I'll stay in touch with you before and after. But I'm really, you know, I've had people ask me, how can you sleep at night knowing this is coming? I've slept better the last 2 years than I ever slept because I realized, I got caught. I was doing wrong. I'm not looking over my shoulder for anybody to come at me. It is what it is. This is what I'm facing. This is why I'm here. And once you accept that, it's kind of like talk about. I want to go in early. You just want to get it over with.
I think pretrial is harder than the actual prison time.
Yeah, it was because I
Sentencing
couldn't.
day was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. I was so relieved. He could have gave me
And that's
20 years and I still would have said thank you. At least I
yeah,
know.
yeah. That 2 years was the hardest for me because I couldn't make any plans. I couldn't buy a car. I couldn't do anything because I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now I know that you got 18 months. You knock this out, and and then with a good time and this and that, there's a chance I could really be blessed in this situation and just come out and just start my life over. And I may not have the best job. I may not have this, I may not have that, but I got me and I got my kids and I got,
Yeah.
it's I'm not starting over from scratch with a family that I have. Even though I come out with nothing, I got them and they're everything. So I'm fine.
Yeah. Hey, do you have any words of probably should wrap this up. I don't know, you're on your lunch break, but what kind of advice do you have for somebody that's coming up on their sentencing, going through the pretrial? I just talked to like 3 people this week. They haven't been sentenced yet, but they're going to be. And, you got some advice for them? how
Well,
to
the
get
only
through this?
yeah, from my personal experience is, you know, and I know this sounds cliche, expect the unexpected. You know, don't go in there hoping for the best, but thinking it's the worst. Go in there with a clear head. If you're just starting out on pretrial, don't do the work at the mission and the volunteer work. Don't do that to get time off. Do that to appreciate that it could be worse. That at least you're in a situation where you're not living there, that you're able to out and you're in a home and you can go volunteer there to make lives better because you're not living there. You could be living there. And as you do that, it gives you a better sense of yourself. As far as anybody listening that hasn't been through it, that hadn't contacted you yet, it doesn't hurt to give you a call because it can ease a lot of stress. Like I said, I wish I would have called you way before I did because I would have known. Lawyers can tell you so much, but they're not been on the other side of it. You know,
Yeah.
guys like you who've been in and out appreciate the fact that you're out. You don't judge, and that's one thing I've noticed when you talk to an ex-inmate. He don't judge you no matter what you did because, you know, he can't. And
Yeah, I'm not interested in your crime or anything. You're gonna find in the camp, most people don't ask you what you did. They're gonna ask you how much time you got. And in the penitentiary, they don't talk about how much time they got because you got a guy doing life. He hears you got 18 months. He's gonna shank you just because you know you made him angry. You're going home, and you think you're going home 18 months? Oh yeah, in a
yeah,
camp, you don't have that in a camp. Everybody's happy to hear you going home. Everybody's going home. Everybody's got an out date, but they don't really care what you did. When you sit down with a guy and talk, they go, "So what are you in here for?" It'll come up, but they don't. Nobody cares.
yeah,
We don't have
and
child molesters there, so they're not. Other than that, they don't really care what you did. They know you did something to get in there. You know what I mean? So
and the best I can advise, if you're not on pretrial, like I was watching a tape of yours that day and somebody asked a question if they were 19 years old and they hadn't been indicted yet. And
right.
I was like, if you hadn't been indicted yet, then obviously you're doing something to be indicted for. And I can tell you right now, and you know this as well as I do, because we both did our crimes for extra money and this and that. There's no amount of money worth this. You don't get
Yeah.
to keep it. You don't get to take it with you. There's nothing in your case having to pay all that back. I mean, there's no amount of money worth anything
Yeah.
to face just the
I,
stress of it all.
I think I know the person you're talking about. So they were asking me all these questions about and when they raid your house, what happens and all. He hasn't been indicted yet. So I think he's doing something that he's worried he's going to get caught for. So he
Well,
knows it's wrong.
if they raid his house, it's followed by an indictment. So he
Yeah,
might as well.
yeah.
And
So
if it's
he knows they're he's either thinking they're watching him or he's about to
and
get arrested. He needs to
and it's
stop what he's doing.
oh yeah, this is like my situation. I knew they were coming 2 weeks before they came. It would when you know they're coming. When they start questioning your family, like your immediate family, it's
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah,
And I actually found out on Father's Day is when I got that gut feeling they were coming, and then
yeah,
they came a week or two later.
yeah, man. So
But like I
yeah,
said,
well, Chris, I don't know. I think we'll wrap this up. But I just want to thank you for coming on here, and I
hey, thank
hope
you, man.
things that you said help the next guy out there. And like Chris said, guys, you can call me. I put my phone number on there, and I haven't had any crazy weirdo people call me up. God doesn't give me more people than I can handle. Two or three
Right,
people might call me in a day. I trust God. He's gonna let me help you, and
and
you know
I'm
what I
telling
mean.
you,
So
it definitely helps. Because and if you can call him before you go get sentenced, because there are a lot of things that will have you just running in circles, worried to death about. He can answer them for you. He can pretty much tell you about like play by play in a football, how it's going to go. And you know, it's good to talk to somebody who's been there. And it's
the
and
only
like I
thing
said,
I ask is you hit the like button and you subscribe and share the videos. That's what I ask for. That's my price.
and they're good videos, man. Pop them in your car and just listen to them when you're riding home from work. That's what I do.
All right. All right, Chris, I'm gonna let you get back to work in Alabama there, and I know we're gonna be in touch. And I think I made a friend with you. And when you get in there,
Oh,
I want to be here when you get out and you come back on, and maybe you can start a channel and you can help people. And you know what I mean? We spread this thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, thank you, buddy.
All right, man. Any last words? Is that it? We're good?
Hey, I thank you for all your help. Like I said, I'll definitely talk to you before I leave, and hopefully I can talk to you when I get out.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.